Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our Parent and Caregiver course registration information night for rising 11th graders. These are for students who are currently in 10th grade. And tonight we're going to be talking about information you need to know as your child registers for the courses that they're going to take during their 11th grade year. And this information specific to students who should be graduating in the class of 2026. My name is Shelton Mooney. I am the principal of Bethesda Chevy Chase High School, and I am glad to be with you tonight. As we get started on this, I do want to share a couple of pieces of information with you, just so everyone is aware. We will not be using the chat function tonight, but we will be addressing questions through the Q&A option. The benefit of the Q&A option is that it allows everyone to see the answer to your question typed out, and then we can also include that document later when we share out this video so you can go back and reference that. The other piece that I want to make sure that everyone is aware is that we do have closed captioning enabled for this, and you should see that option to turn that on if you do need that on your screen. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Sutton, who's going to begin this process for us. But thank you all again for joining us. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mooney. I am Rebecca Sutton. I'm one of the assistant principals here at BCC. Ms. Holland typically supports students who are in the junior class. So she would have been the administrator to run it. She's not feeling well this evening, so I'll be taking over for her. Today, we'll talk about some registration reminders, counselor assignments, graduation requirements. All of our department RTs will be presenting to share course offerings by content, and then we'll do a little bit of conversation about program completers and future planning. Just a reminder, as we go, please use the Q&A. Each of our RTs will take a look at the Q&A after they finish presenting and answer questions once they finish. So again, please use that Q&A function. Important things to remember: course registration is open now for rising 10th through 12th graders. They do that through their student view. Course registration will close January 31st, and information, including instructions for using Synergy, their student view account, to do that is available on our course registration site, which has been in the weekly bulletins and will also be included in the email when we send out this presentation and recording. Some key dates: our counselors visited social studies classes to talk about the scheduling process in December, the 11th through the 14th. Today, we have our Rising 11th grade parent caregiver course registration information night. Next Wednesday, we will have the electives fair through English classes. So every student will have a chance to learn about electives in all departments. Also, during that week, they will get a presentation from their contents. So if they're in a PE class, they'll learn about other PE classes. In a world languages class, they'll learn about other world languages classes. And that will happen that week as well. So there's lots of opportunities to learn about all the course offerings at BCC. Again, the registration will close on the 31st. And then after that, February 1st through the 23rd, counselors will have individual meetings with students where they will review what's in the course registration that the students did and make any changes that are necessary. Now we'll pass it on to Mr. Summer, who is here to represent counseling.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sutton. So here's a look at who your counselor will be or is currently. So you'll see A through AH is Ms. Reverend, AI to CAR is Mr. Favazzo, CAS ESR is Mr. DeMunter. My load is the ESS through HARRI. Then Ms. Unanu has the next set, HARRJ through KUP. Ms. May has KUQ to MK. Ms. Henry ML to RI. Ms. Shoker RJ to ST. Miss Ammon's currently out, but expected back next month for right now. And Mr. Irving's in place, and he's got SU to Z. And then Miss Connie has the EMLs. I'm sorry. There we go. All right. So students must. Oh, I backed up some. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, that's right. I'm sorry. So students must have 22 credits to graduate. So we're going to take a look at the exact breakdown of what that looks like per each class. So for computer science, they need 1 credit, and it's got to be designated with the TE. For English, they need 4 credits. So that one, they're going to be in class all 4 years. Fine arts, they need 1 credit. That could be dance, could be media, art or music, theater, or visual art, or even a combination. Health, they now need 1 credit. If you had an older child, the seniors and beyond, they only needed a half, but everyone juniors and below are going to need a full credit in health. Math, you need 4 credits, and you also need to be enrolled in a math class all 4 years. So even if you took math in middle school, you still have to be enrolled in a math class all 4 years. That's a requirement. PE, you need 1 credit. Science, you need 3. Social studies, you also need 3. And then for a world language, you either need 2 years within the same language, or you need to do a completer program, which we'll hear more about later in the presentation. But there are a variety of other choices if the language route is not the best for your child. And then there are some other requirements, such as 75 SSL hours and passing all the Maryland state assessments. It could be less for students who enrolled after 6th grade. There are certain enrollment waivers we can fill out if you join MCPS late, and you can talk to your counselor about getting that filled in so that they get credit for those hours if they join MCPS afterwards. And if you earn 240 hours, you earn a certificate of merit. All
Thank
right.
you. We are about to go into the department offerings. I do want to answer a few questions from the Q&A live real quick. One of those questions is, can you confirm whether course registration is first come, first serve, or is it equal opportunity as long as it's entered by 131? The way our process works is that students put in their course requests, and then we build the schedule based off of that. So if we have enough students that request AP Physics to run 2 sections, then we run 2 sections of AP Physics. That being said, for some of our electives that you'll hear about tonight, if it's primarily an 11th and 12th grade elective, but it's open to 10th graders, and we're on the cusp of not quite enough to run 3 sections, but definitely enough to run 2, 10th graders would be bumped before 11th would be bumped before 12th, because there is time year to take that course offering. I'm also noticing some people raising hands. Again, as a reminder, we are not calling on people who are participants in this webinar. If you have a question, please use the Q&A or reach out to your student's counselor directly. So again, we won't be calling on people directly. You won't be able to speak, but you can use the Q&A function. And other questions that are content specific, I will allow the RTs to speak to those after they present. So if we aren't answering your question right now, please note that the RT will do that when they speak. And with that being said, Mr. O'Halloran, are you ready to do your spiel?
I'm always ready to spiel.
The floor is yours.
All right. Welcome, folks attached to a BCC junior. I'm here to talk about English. You have a rising junior. This is their big year. They have some decisions to make. They've taken English 9 and 10. Everybody has to do that. 11th grade, there are 3 pathways they can take with some variations on that. They can continue in our excellent Honors English 11 and Honors English 12 courses for 11th and 12th grade. Some students want to continue in Honors English 11, but challenge themselves in 12th grade. We highly recommend if they do that, they take AP Language and Composition. And some students right in 11th grade want to go right ahead and challenge themselves out of the gate. If they want to go the AP route, they can take AP Language and Composition in 11th grade and AP Literature in 12th grade, or they can either get involved in our excellent IB program and go the diploma program route, in which case they would be signed up for the 2-year language and lit course in IB English. They can take that as part of the diploma. Or if they just want to challenge themselves and just take the IB English Language and Literature both years, they can do that as well, not attached to the diploma. But that's really as simple as it is for 11th and 12th graders in English for BCC. Now, we have some fantastic electives that are open to your juniors and seniors in the next couple of years. We have BCC TV, our Emmy award-winning video production class. They put together our weekly news show. There is an audition process, and information about auditions will be sent out to students soon if it hasn't already been. We also have a fantastic literary magazine called Chips, which is fantastic for anyone interested in art, music, poetry, fiction, nonfiction. They put together a glossy, beautiful literary magazine at the end of each school year that becomes available to students. We also have for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders creative writing. If a student is going to take the IB diploma program, they have the option of taking, well, they pretty much have to take IB Theory of Knowledge, TOK. We also have journalism, which is a prerequisite for the Tadler. It's a one semester class for students in 9th through 12th grade. They must take that in order to become involved in the Tadler. Every year we get a few students who regret not taking it and want to get into the Tadler, and I'm always very sad to tell them, you have to take that journalism one class first. So they may want to get that out of the way as soon as possible if they're interested in Tadler. We also have a student leadership class that's new this year, started this year, and it will be continuing next year. And it's for anyone who's interested in student leadership positions in an academic setting. We have students who are on the SGA in there, part of the Minority Scholars Program, and just students who are interested in school leadership. As I was mentioning, we have our school newspaper, the Tadler. And last but not least, we have yearbook available for your 11th and 12th graders. We also have some arts-based electives that are taught by English teachers, which is why they're here. They do meet the fine arts requirement that Mr. Marshall White's going to be talking about in a little bit. They are all performing arts based. We have advanced acting and play directing. We have dance is a fine art. We have IB dance, IB film 1 and 2. We have production and performance, which is like a filmmaking class. Students actually make their own films. We have stage design class, and we have theater 1 and 2 available to you. So if you have any questions about any of these, my email address is at the bottom, and I will be heading down to the Q&A to answer any questions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Marshall White. I'm the resource teacher for art, music, PE, and health. Starting with the visual arts, we have AP Studio, drawing 2D and 3D design. We also have ceramics that students can take in 11th and 12th grade. We have digital art that they can take in a nice digital lab in the newer part of the school. And Foundations of Art is a course for students that don't have much background in art, but they will get it through this class. IB Art for 11th and 12th graders, for those that want to be part of the IB program, diploma program. We also offer photography for students that are interested in that, and studio art, which is a little more advanced than the Foundations of Art. In music, we hope that if your child is currently enrolled in an ensemble, that they will certainly continue for next year. We have lots of exciting groups that they can be a part of, along with our music trip. This year, we're going to New York City in April. So a lot to look forward to in the music department. If they are in a symphonic band or symphonic orchestra right now in 10th grade, then next year they should sign up for either the wind ensemble or Philharmonic Orchestra. If they are in choir, they can continue in choir, or they can audition for chamber singers. Auditions are taking place this week during lunch. Or show choir is another class that we love to offer if we have enough students to take that, based more in pop jazz type of music. We also have our percussion ensemble drumline, which is open to all students, 9th through 12th grade. The drumline is very active during the football and basketball season, and the students in that class also perform with most of the other instrumental ensembles because they play percussion in those other groups. If your child doesn't have any experience or background in music but would like to start, the guitar class and piano class are a good option. We provide the instruments for those classes, so there's nothing to purchase, and they'll get a good background and foundation in learning how to read music and perform on the instrument. And just remember that you do need one credit, a full year credit of fine arts to graduate. Along with music, we have the AP Music Theory class, which is very theory intensive. There's an AP exam at the end of the year. Did they take that? In 11th and 12th grade, they have the option to take IB Advanced Music, which is part of the IB program. Students usually are in another music class that take this because there is some performance that goes along with that. I do offer that as an 8th period online option for those that have schedule conflicts, so quite a number of students do that as well. And also we offer a music technology class to learn about music production in the recording studio, and that is for 11th and 12th grade students. Health. Remember that students need to have a full year of health before they graduate. We now have Health A and Health B. They cannot take Health B without taking Health A. And I believe that it will be offered, both will be offered this summer. Health B was not offered last summer because it was new, but I think it will be offered this summer. PE classes, these are classes that occur during the school day. And again, they need one full credit of PE to graduate. In the previous session, there were a couple questions about the sports after school. Can they count towards graduation? And the answer is no. Anything after school is not part of the credits for graduation, and that is handled by our athletic director, Mr. Kralzel. So we offer basketball and flag football. Foundations of personal fitness and sport. Those are like lifetime types of sports that you do over the course of your life. Net sports, obviously anything involving a net. Soccer, team sports, yoga and stretching, very popular class. And weight training and conditioning is another one that we have. Thanks, and if you have any, I'll check out the Q&A and shoot me an email if you have any other questions. Thank you very much.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Janet Gallagher. I'm going to talk about the math classes here at BCC for our rising 11th graders. So actually, the most important piece of information on this slide is down at the bottom, which is my email. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing an overview with general information about options for your students. If you have specific questions for your specific student, please don't hesitate to reach out by email. I'd like to give you a thoughtful response. It might take me a little bit to come up with your specific answer. So again, make sure you've got my email and reach out if you would like. So as this slide indicates, MCPS does require 4 credits of math for graduation. 2 of those credits have to be Algebra 1 and Geometry, and then 2 more credits after that. In addition, students must be enrolled in a math class or all 4 years of high school. So if your student took Algebra 1 and or Geometry in middle school, they are still required to take 4 years of math at BCC, and they might end up with 5 or 6 credits or 7 by the time they graduate. So this slide here describes the math programs offered in MCPS. Students typically navigate through Algebra 1, then Geometry, then Algebra 2, and then they have a choice for their 4th or 5th or 6th math credit based on their performance and their interest in math so far. Most 10th graders have completed Algebra 1, so I'm going to start with Geometry. If your current 10th grader is in Geometry, they will have the choice of taking Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 2, or 2-year Algebra 2 next year as an 11th grader. The curriculums are similar, but honors courses will have additional content to teach. They're going to go at a faster pace. They will have assessments at a deeper level of rigor. and they may not always allow for the use of a calculator. In addition, the 2-year Algebra 2 class is the best fit for students who work at a slower pace. They will cover the same content, but they're going to cover it over 2 years instead of 1 year to complete the course. If your current 10th grader is in Algebra 2 or Honors Algebra 2, they will actually have more choices. So students who are interested in STEM fields and STEM courses can sign up for pre-calculus or honors pre-calculus as an 11th grader, which opens up the option to take calculus as a 12th grader. If they finish Algebra 2 or Honors Algebra 2 and they're not interested in a STEM field or those courses, they have the option to take Honors Statistics as an 11th grader, which opens up the option for AP Statistics as a 12th grader. And if your 10th grader is in pre-calculus or honors pre-calculus, it's a similar choice. If they're interested in STEM courses and a STEM field, then they're going to take calculus. We have 3 different levels of calculus as an 11th grader. And if they're not, they also have the option to take honors statistics as an 11th grader. All right, and here are some math electives to look forward to in 11th or 12th grade. So again, variety of options. We have 4 different calculus classes for students who are interested in a STEM field. We have 2 levels of statistics for basically any student. Any field really needs a background in statistics. And then looking forward to 12th grade, we have financial math. That is a course for real world math. Anybody who has to do their taxes in the future, take out a loan, make a budget, it's a useful class. And then there are 3 different IB math classes students can take as a senior. So based on what class they're in 11th grade, anybody is able to take an IB math class as a 12th grader. So I'm going to pass it on to Dr. McDonald, but I look forward to answering your questions in the Q&A right now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris McDonald. I'm the science resource teacher. And so we have rising juniors, currently 10th graders. So they're all pretty much in chemistry this year, either on-level chemistry or honors chemistry. So students need 3 science credits to graduate. And they're kind of sorted out in this table here. So the 9th grade biology course was the life science credit. The 10th grade chemistry course can count as the physical science credit, and they'll need 1 more credit, and it's kind of the default is physics. So there's honors physics, which you can expect the difference between honors physics and the on-level physics is actually astronomy with physics. And so the difference between those 2 courses is similar to the difference between honors chemistry and on-level chemistry in terms of the rigor of the course and the speed of the course, though physics will have a lot more math, even than chemistry. And there's sort of an expectation from colleges that, they want to see physics typically. So it's definitely a good course to take. However, students do have the option of, instead of taking physics, they could take an AP or IB course in place of that credit requirement. So students could take biology, chemistry, and physics for their 3 science courses, or they could take biology, chemistry, and AP biology, for instance, or IB environmental systems. So I just want to kind of talk through some of the key things about these courses that are common questions. AP chemistry and AP biology are double period courses. So it's 2 periods of your schedule. IB biology and IB physics are single period, but they're over 2 years. AP environmental science and IB environmental science, those are both 1 year, 1 period courses. IB sports is also a 1 year course. Yeah, this slide is helpful. So one common question that we get is about physics. So I don't see AP Physics on this slide, but the big difference between IB Physics and AP Physics is IB Physics is a algebra-based course, and AP Physics is calculus-based. So for AP Physics, the honors physics prerequisite. So juniors typically would not be going into AP Physics yet, and they also need either a calculus prerequisite if it's AB calculus, or a co-requisite if it's BC calculus. And then in terms of electives beyond the graduate, we also have forensics, which is a really fun, popular class, and anatomy and physiology. So I'll take questions in the chat. So thank you. Passing off to Dr.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald. How's everybody doing? Thanks for coming out. These are 11th rising 11th graders, our current 10th graders. So where you fall, let me back up. I'm Hunter Hogwood, head of the Social Studies Department here at BCC. So most of your students are in either government, AP government, or honors NSL government. Some of your students may be in AP US history if they did AP government in 9th grade, but for the 11th grade year, the real choice comes down between whether they want to do the honors modern world history, the AP world history, or IB history. And so that's sort of the big questions, the questions that we often get about 11th grade. So I'm going to just talk about those three options. The honors modern world history is, it covers about 500-600 years of history, really focuses on a lot of different regions of the world, and does that in 1 year. The AP World History course as well covers 400 or 500 years of history, focusing on many different regions of the world. It moves at a faster pace than the honors class. There'd be more reading and get involved, sort of homework and reading involved in the AP course versus the honors class. So if your child is really into history and really enjoys that, then that would be AP would be the direction to go potentially. And then a lot of students are deciding whether or not to take the AP World History or IB History. And so I'll just talk a little bit about the differences between those two courses. So as I mentioned, AP World History and in all the advanced placement courses, there's a test at the end of the year in May. If the students score the 3 or higher, they potentially can earn credit in college for that course. The AP World History course moves, as I mentioned, at a fast pace. It's covering 500-600 years of history in one single year. The IB History course, if your child decides to go that route, IB History is a 2-year program. So you have IB History 1 in the junior year and IB History 2 in the senior year. And that covers about 300 or 400 years of history in 2 years. So you can sort of see the major difference there. One is giving you a broader, the AP World is giving you a broader scope of the history in 1 year. So you're covering kind of a lot of topics, maybe not as in depth, whereas the IB History, you're covering kind of fewer topics. You really focus mostly on Europe and Asia, and you're doing those topics in a little bit more depth. So it really kind of depends on your child's interest level, what draws them. And their current teachers are happy to speak to them about it and give suggestions. My email is there as well if you have questions about kind of making that decision. But the current teachers are a really good source for that. Let's go into the electives, if we may. So for 11th and 12th grade years, we have a lot of great year-long electives. In addition to most students take more than just one history course or social studies course each year, and so we have some great electives there. 2 new ones I'll just highlight. AP African American Studies we offer next year. That's a new course for us, a new course for everybody, actually. And then also AP Human Geography. Next year, we're going to offer that course for the first time. So those are two really great options. All of these are fantastic options. We have both AP and IB options that are year-long, open to anybody who has a desire or interest in those areas. I'll go to my final slide on the semester-long electives. So we have fantastic just one semester classes in social studies, as you can see there. Great variety, a lot of different topics that are covered: East Asia, compared religion, economics. Unique for rising 11th graders, they're eligible to take the hip hop, history and culture, LGBTQ studies, as well as positive psychology. So those are new, that were open to 11th and 12th graders only. So really fantastic semester course options. They're sort of high interest, low stress. They're designed to be really kind of interesting, but not too overly taxing on students who are already overly taxed. So happy to answer any questions. Please email me, or I will go over and look at the Q&A, see what you got. Have a great evening.
Before our next presenter, I've seen a couple Q&As about the microphone volume. I'm not hearing it change on my end, but please note that for anyone who's having difficulty hearing the presenters, closed captioning is available. So you can turn on the closed captioning from the same bar where you see like the Q&A button and other options. So you can go ahead and turn that on.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Leanna Blanford, and I am the Career and Technology Education Resource Teacher at BCC. So this, if you know, my email is at the bottom. So if you have more personal and individual questions for your students regarding tech credit or any of our career readiness pathways, please feel free to reach out to me. I want to start off by saying any student who is currently in any of our career readiness pathways, you as a parent or guardian received additional information in your parent view from me either this morning or yesterday. So a lot of this information is already in your inbox. To start, we have our technology education requirements. So every student in the state of Maryland is required to have 1.0 technology education credits prior to graduation. We have 3 technology education credit options at BCC. They are Introduction to Engineering Design, AP Computer Science Principles, and Foundations of Computer Science. You'll note on this slide that next to IED and AP CSP, there is a notation that they cannot be used for their pathway or their technology credit. That is for our small percentage of students who are using a career readiness pathway in place of world languages. And we'll be discussing that later on, as well as some of the other pathways. So IED is really a broad brushstroke into engineering. We focus a lot on design and 3D modeling. AP Computer Science Principles is a great AP class to take for students. It's really balanced in terms of exam preparation because part of the exam is what we call the create task. They spend about a month in school just designing and creating an app to very specific specifications that then gets uploaded to College Board and is the larger portion of their AP exam. And then lastly, we have Foundations of Computer Science. I really refer to this as the technology credit option for a student who isn't really into technology. It's very broad brushstroke into how the internet works, how data is managed, how computers work. So very introductory. And then Introduction to Engineering Design and AP Computer Science Principles are also advanced level courses. So they will also weight in your student's GPA, just like an honors course would. And then we have, on this slide, you will see some of our technology education credit electives. We have a great deal of electives. These are just our a la carte electives, as I refer to them. The other electives that are in our Project Lead the Way pathway, child development, some of those other programs, because they're in career readiness pathways, you'll see glimpses of those on later slides. I can absolutely take questions on them. Again, if you have a student in those pathways, you've already seen some supplemental information. But we have some great electives that are a la carte, meaning they do not necessarily require pathway prerequisites. So we have website development and advanced web tools and digital media. Those are level 1 and 2. Website development is HTML and CSS. And then advanced web tools focuses on data visualization and the importing of media. So photos, videos, audio, those kinds of things into web design. And then AP Computer Science A, or Java, is a language-specific course that focuses on Java as a programming language. Then beyond that, we have Computer Programming 3, which is Advanced Java. And then we have Computer Programming 1, which is Python, so object-oriented programming using Python, which is our other language-specific elective. We also do have our internship program, which is an elective internship. Students can have up to 3 periods of their day slotted for internship. So that is possible if you are a senior. So that's more of a planning mechanism for our students. And I will pass this to Ms. Pomeroy, and I will jump over to the Q&A.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shira Pomeroy. I'm the World Languages Resource Teacher at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School. Welcome. If your student chooses world languages as their completer pathway, then they are required to complete a minimum of 2 years of study in the same language. Although we do encourage students to stick with this, to pick a language and stick with that language for as long as they can. It's hopefully throughout all 4 years of high school, regardless of when they started learning that language. For rising 11th graders, I think one of the most common questions that I get is, well, how does my student choose between AP and IB? Because particularly in French and Spanish, when you get to level 5, where a lot of our rising 11th graders are, you do have this option, level 5, and then level 6, the option to choose between honors, AP, or IB. And so my recommendation is this: if your student is participating in the IB diploma program, as a full IB student, then the choice is clear. They should register for IB language course, which is offered in all 4 of the languages that we offer: Arabic, Chinese, French, and Spanish. If your student is not participating in the full IB diploma program, then my recommendation is that they sign up for either an honors or an AP course. There are quite a few reasons why I make this recommendation, and so I strongly encourage you to reach out to your child's teacher to ask them about the specifics regarding that. World languages teachers will be talking to their students, if they have not already done so, about course recommendations for the following year. I know it's already happened in some courses. If it hasn't happened in your child's course, it will be happening this week or next week. Of course, you can always reach out to me. There is one other option: Spanish for Spanish speakers levels 1 through 3 is for our students who are heritage speakers of Spanish, who grew up speaking Spanish but don't have maybe as much academic experience with the Spanish language. And after Spanish for Spanish speakers level 3, those students would take an AP or an IB course. So again, if you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out. One final thing is that the Maryland Seal of Biliteracy is our woohoo for world languages, and students typically for the world languages half of that, they really should get to level 5, level 6 in order to qualify, and then take the AP or the IB exam, or the Avant language proficiency exam to qualify for the Seal of Biliteracy. So that's why we really want students to pick a language and stick with it. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat, or you can reach out to me via email. Have a good night.
Thank you. I'm going to expand upon what Ms. Blanford and Ms. Pomeroy just shared a little bit. With the program completers, you saw when Mr. Summer was presenting at the beginning, towards the bottom of the graduation requirements, it said elective program completer. Every student must complete one. And for our rising juniors, many of your students will be working on their program completer next year and their senior year. Many of our program completers are done in the junior and senior year if they did not already do 2 years of world language. So one of the options is world language. Then we have Career Readiness Program of Study or an approved career program at Thomas Edison High School. For the world language, you just saw the options from Ms. Pomeroy. Just note that for it to count as the completer, students have to do 2 credits of the same language, 2 credits of the same language, plus 2 credits in elective courses. So they will need to do both of those things if that is their completer. Many of our students who pick a language and stick with it, go all the way through, they get their 2 credits in the same world language and 2 additional elective credits also in that language, so that would count as well. I'm not going to go into too great a detail about all of these program completer options. Hopefully your student has already had conversations with their teachers, with their counselor about many of these, but these slides will all be in the presentation. The whole presentation will be shared out after we have the recorded video completed. So you will see this very shortly to be able to click on links and look in greater detail. So just a quick walkthrough. We have the Apprenticeship Maryland program. We have the College Career Research and Development program, which is a class in their junior year, and then a class and site-based work experience in their senior year. So they would need to have a job to meet this requirement. They have to have a certain number of hours. You see it listed there as the hours required per credit in a job to meet this requirement. We have child development. Many of your students, if they are doing child development, probably already started that if that is their completer. We have our computer science pathway that Ms. Blandford touched on a little bit, and that has the required coursework with the computer programming 1, the computer science, AP Computer Science A, Java, and then must take one of the following capstone options on that page there. We have Project Lead the Way Engineering. That was also something Ms. Blandford touched on, especially for our students who are really hands-on. They may enjoy participating in the Project Lead the Way Engineering program completer. It is possible, I saw a question in the chat, to do Project Lead the Way Engineering and full IB diploma. It requires careful planning. So if your student is going into their junior year and they have not already had conversations with Ms. Blandford and Ms. Smithson about doing both of those things, it may be a little tricky. It might require some summer classes and things to be able to make it happen. So if your child is planning to do and interested in doing both of those things, please have conversations with Ms. Blandford and Ms. Smithson ASAP to make sure everything can fit in. Thomas Edison, there are a lot of options there. So I won't be able to speak about all of them, but once I send this out, you'll see they have a video and a whole lot listed in the course bulletin. And I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Summer to speak about Jumpstart Dual Enrollment.
All right, so there's basically 2 options. One of them is that you gain college credits while you are still in high school. So to be eligible for this, you need to be 16. You need to have at least a 2.75 for juniors or a 2.5 for seniors. And you must either take the AccuPlacer, the SAT, the ACT, or receive qualifying scores. Students who receive abbreviated schedule to participate in this are expected to be enrolled in courses for both fall and spring semesters. So it's expected that you will take dual enrollment classes both for the fall and for the spring when you're enrolled with this. Courses are offered on BCC campus, on MC campuses, or online. For them to be offered at the BC campus, we are at the mercy of whatever MC has available for us. So just keep that in mind. See Miss Ammons or Miss Irving in the counseling office for more information about this.
And now to Ms. Smithson to speak about the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christine Smithson. I'm the IB Diploma Program Coordinator here at BCC. I just wanted to give you a quick update on what the offerings are, how the diploma program is at BCC. We are an open access program, unlike Richard Montgomery. That is a magnet program at BCC. Our students simply need to, on the verge of registering for 11th grade classes like your students are, they simply need to meet with me and create a 2-year plan. And the 2-year plan essentially is the plan that is the completer for the diploma program. So the IB diploma program is a 2-year program that allows students to earn an international high school diploma. The program is the same across the world. It is for the last 2 years of high school. So for the first time, your students have the ability to sign up for IB classes, whether or not they're going to pursue the full diploma or just take individual courses. If taking the full diploma, they would have had to meet with me. My final meeting for rising 11th graders will be tomorrow at lunch. So they haven't signed up. It's open for them to just stop by at lunch tomorrow, and we can work on creating a 2-year plan. That is not a binding contract at all. They're free to just create the plan and then make a decision later on. But it's an important step if they do want to take the diploma program that they have a 2-year plan before they proceed with registrations for next year. Okay, so at this point, we want to ensure that students are able to access courses that are available to them now, so that the only course that students cannot take if they are not full diploma student is actually theory of knowledge. That is the only diploma specific course. Other IB courses are also available. Again, I am open to lunch for all rising 11th graders who are interested in pursuing the IB diploma tomorrow. After availability becomes a little bit more sketchy, because I'll be working with my current full diploma students who are now into their assessment year. So happy to answer questions. If you just send them along the way with your student, if they come to meet with me at lunch, I will be happy to answer those questions.
Thank you very much. We are going to wrap up for the evening. To answer the last question in the chat, the Jumpstart requirements are set by Montgomery College, so we are not able to make changes to those. That is set by Montgomery College. So yes, those are a requirement for them, and you can reach out to Ms. Ammons when she returns from leave, or Mr. Irving while she is out, to ask any questions specific to the Jumpstart Montgomery College dual enrollment program. So again, we are going to wrap up because we have to open up the webinar for the next session, our rising 12th graders. If you have questions specific for Ms. Smithson, because I'm seeing that some of those questions are popping up, please feel free to email her. I just went back to that slide so you can see her email there on the bottom of the screen. We will be sending this presentation out along with the recording once it is ready, so very shortly, so that you will have that for your perusal in supporting your student with their course registration. Thank you all for being here this evening, and we hope you have a great evening. Thank you.